Yo, brother, you still walking?
Nah, the walk over with, Zach. You know what time it is. The work starting now. It was an incredible experience walking from Chicago to the White House. But now, you know, going there was just to awaken the sleeping giant, awaken us. But now it's coming back and getting the results that we really need in the community.
Now your shirt replace guns with hammers. Is that what you was fighting for?
Yeah, that's the initiative. That's getting young men with guns in their hands and hopelessness in their eyes out of the streets into the trades, rehabbing buildings on their own block in their own community. We know we have a gang problem in Chicago, so I can't take folks in them from Lauron. I can't take folks in them from this spot over there with folks in them. So the thing about it is now we got to go on these blocks where they at, get them in the structures, in the abandoned buildings that's on their block, and teach them a trade and really replace the gun with a construction hammer.
So how long did it take you to literally walk from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago to Washington, D.C. to the White House?
Total, it ended up being like 53 days because in some of the cities I have media, I have things going on, I'll be touching the people, touching the population in them cities, because it wasn't the Nash takeover, it wasn't a Chicago takeover. When I hit Cleveland, I wore a LeBron James jersey because he the king of that city. You know, we got to learn how to embrace each other. Everybody, every time you go to these cities, whether you're doing the wrong thing or the right thing, I was always taught when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do. So I just embraced every culture that I was going in. It was about sharing, learning, and growing, and it was about educating, uplifting, and empowering myself and others in them cities.
Did you meet any young black brothers on that journey to the White House?
Yeah, I met a lot of good men. One of the people that I met was Leon Smith. He's a young man that got shot by the police in Pittsburgh. He was paralyzed actually, but it came full circle because I was in affairs with his father.
What?
Yeah, we was in affairs. I was in affairs where I was at with Bump J in Big Spring, Texas, and it was crazy because it came full circle. I reached out to him. One of the guys told me, man, I needed to talk to Leon Smith, and what ended up happening is I called him and he was with his dad, and it ended up being that his dad was one of the people that was an example for me in jail. He was one of them no-nonsense guys that was just really an example of how you moved in jail and how you moved to be a better man once you got out.
Wow, that's super dope. Yeah. And I noticed you repping Chicago to the fullest with the Chicago Kids hat.
Oh yeah.
And the Cubs on, brother.
Oh yeah, we mess with winners around here.
And you still got on the runners, the walking shoes.
Yeah, these hokers, these were ones that I walked in.
So it doesn't stop.
Nah, it don't stop. The work just began, man. It ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna keep on fighting. I'm gonna keep on working. Just like I've been doing in entertainment. When I first put Rico Reckless and E-Day in the picture together, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gonna stop. Whether somebody agree with it or don't, man, it's time out for it. And man, I love my entire city. I don't do the east side, west side, south side, north side. I don't do none of that, man. I love good dudes that's from our city everywhere.
How much weight did you lose on your journey, brother?
About 10, 15 pounds. I thought I was gonna lose more, but I'm slim and trim, but I'm ready.
And you also was in the hospital?
Yeah, I end up having something happen with my pancreas. So, I was in the hospital for like 3 days. We good. I was in the hospital for like 3 days, getting IV, but the mission had to be completed, and that was halfway through it. So you know what it is, man.
And you still didn't stop.
And I got up out that bed and I got it done. The mission was completed.
Now, before you went, I was watching Windy City Live, and they had you as a guest on that show. Right. And your response to when they asked you, how are you going to get this complete? Let the world know, what did you say?
Oh yeah, you talking about the elephant?
Yes.
Yeah. So I always say when somebody asks me how was I gonna walk to the White House, I always tell them like, well, how do you eat an elephant? And then they look at me like, well, it's a symbolism for you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So that means no matter how big the task, if you break it down into small bite-sized pieces, you can get it done. So I just did it like that. I broke walking from Chicago to the White House into small pieces that I could do logically every day, and every day was Groundhog Day.
Super dope, super dope. Well, how did you feel that the media covered it? Did you think you got enough press?
Yeah, I got a great deal of press. I got 2 awards while I was gone. I'm gonna get an award from Chicago as well. I got a proclamation from the entire state of Pennsylvania, and I got a resolution of recognition from the city of Cleveland. And I got to go back in about 3 weeks to get that and address their city council and everything. So I am going to continue to speak truth to power. And like I said, God just used me as a man to walk. But this was for us. Chicago, this was for us. I couldn't have done this without God, family, friends, and the village. We sitting right here on 35th. This is where I'm from. Some of the guys, like this is what taught me how to be who I am. When the projects was up, when it was real men and we had real structure in our city, you know, and I just show, and the reason why I can love Chicago the way I do is because men love me. They used to sit me down. I was the hyena with the, I was known for having a backpack, but this backpack had drugs, guns, and money, and a lot of it. So when you talk about a hyena, when you talk about a savage, I was that before you even got off the porch. You even was out your mama belly. I was one of them, and that's why I can relate. My Jesus piece got dreads on it. So y'all talk about hyenas, y'all talk about dreads. My Jesus got dreads on it.
Wow.
So you know, what does it look like? What does a real Chicago man look like? He a gangster and a gentleman, and he know when to turn it on and off. We ain't too much savages, we ain't too much shot right, we ain't too much none of that. Y'all doing too much.
Hold up, you told her smile because what?
Yeah, because I walked from Chicago to the White House about the violence. She don't want to smile for me though. She ain't gonna smile. She ain't gonna smile. It's alright. She saying ain't nothing to smile for. God woke you up, then you stand a chance.
Now Nash,
what's up?
The world know while you out of town, there's been a lot of things going on in Chicago.
That it has.
And one of the main things that's been going on in Chicago is the Kenneka Jenkins situation with the 19-year-old African American woman from the west side of Chicago was found in the freezer in Rosemont at the Crown Plaza. What's your take on that, brother?
Well, I just felt like it was a process. You know, everybody was rushing to judgment with them young men and women that was in the room. You know, at one point they started putting their home addresses and stuff like that all on file, talking about they should kill them and this and that. And everybody was rushing to judgment, and it kind of, to me, it did a disservice for Kenneka and her family to get justice. You know, no matter what you say or how you say it, it's processes. It's processes in law enforcement, it's processes in life. And everything is not instant. I feel like we just want answers all the way. Sometimes things don't have an immediate answer. Sometimes you just got to let the process of life work. And I felt like it was, you know, with a lot of things that was happening surrounding the outside, surrounding the story, and everybody being a who's who and detective. I just felt like it did a very. It just made it look. It just hurt it more than it helped. And I just want to know, you know, now that the camera's gone, where are the people that was calling for justice? You know, are they still out at Rosemont? Are they still doing those type of things? Because we still haven't seen the conclusion. So is everybody just gonna walk away from that like we walked away from Laquan McDonald case? Like, what are we gonna see to completion? Or are we just go jump and bounce from subject to subject, wherever the cameras go, that's where we at? I mean, I just want to know. Okay.
Do you perhaps think that she walked in that freezer by herself?
I mean, I really don't know, bro. And like I said, I'll do it a disservice to even jump to a conclusion. I feel like, man, it was very tragic. I feel like a lady lost her daughter, and I feel like, man, answers need to be gotten. But I don't know, and I don't want to add to the narrative of not knowing something and then speaking on it and really don't know.
Okay, that make a lot of sense. But do you think the media gave the Kenneka Jenkins story enough attention?
I know if it was any other type of race or anything, it would have definitely got national attention.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I think you know, we just got to deal with the reality of it, and it ain't for another race to bring attention to it. It's for our race to bring attention to it. We got to start taking back our narrative. We got to start telling our stories in our way, and so we don't have to keep on looking like you know, these angry black men and women, or it has to be a scandal every time something happened to us.
Most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. Are you still involved in the hip hop community?
Of course, I'm never gonna stop being involved because I love my people, and I know that hip hop is what's really fueling a lot of things that's going on in our city, and it's quite tragic. But I still need these young men in hip hop to understand their power and influence in the moment. I need them to understand that, you know, doing these songs, they're smoking on each other, and you're igniting a city and
Whoa, say that again. Doing these songs, saying what?
Doing these songs, smoking on each other is really disrespectful. And then it's disrespectful for us to do it. But it's also very disrespectful to have outside people do it. I don't care if it's somebody from Detroit, I don't care if it's somebody from Miami, it's very disrespectful. And it's just something we don't do. One thing about Chicago, we handle our own. We handle we take care of our own business. We don't need nobody from the outside coming in throwing more gasoline on an already huge bonfire.
So it's safe to say you don't agree with outside rappers outside the city?
I don't agree with no outside rappers speaking on nothing that got nothing to do with Chicago, period. I do not. I don't care who it is. If you don't know these people individually, or you just meet somebody and they tell you about a JoJo, or they tell you about a Tuka, or they tell you about a Newski, or this and that, you don't know them to speak on them. Them people dead, man. You don't know them. So why is you speaking on a dead person, man? Mind your business. Get your town together. Get your city together. Then worry about Chicago. And knock it off, man. Y'all people that's rapping about Chicago, they cities ain't even got nothing going on. They city ain't even, you know, where it need to be. We need to be loving each other. Let's celebrate the living. Why we got to keep on talking about dead people? You ain't even taking, y'all so concerned about dead people when your homie can't even ask you for $100.
Wow.
Come on, knock it off, bro. Like, playing.
What happened to Chicago being a no-fly zone? Why isn't it like that? Like, if you just you can't come here.
Because it ain't no unity, and that's why we don't, as a whole, we don't have no money. We can act like we got some money, but we know what really going on. Most rappers ain't getting their money through rap here in Chicago. You know, if they got some money, they doing other things to get money. It's only a chosen few that is getting some money through the rap, and they don't even live here.
Wow. Right.
You know, and they don't live here. So, you know, if somebody talking about, you know, they rapping and they getting a lot of money, ask them where they reside. It ain't Chicago.
What's the agenda when you hear Chicago a hating ass city? Like, when you get on, get out of here. Is that true?
A lot of times it's the energy you bring. It's what you put out into the universe. All I've been doing is sowing seeds of love and respect, and that's all I ever got from Chicago. I ain't never got nothing else. You know, if I had a problem, I took care of it, or we came to a conclusion that we needed to let it go. But a lot of times, man, it go like this. Like, I feel like our city is a 999. Like, soon as somebody get on from here, now everybody broke. Damn, we was just eating ramen noodles together. How you? Cause you got a little money. Right. Now everybody else broke. You forgot from which you came. You forgot you came from Inglewood and was broke. You forgot you came from out west and was broke. You forgot you came from wherever and you was broke. Damn, it's funny how you get a little on or do a little rap tour or do something and now everybody broke. Come on, man. Just be grateful that you was able to make it out, and your life should be a testimony. Because one thing about Chicago, when you always doing that 999, they go test that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got money and we don't? Well, we go come get your money. So instead of a real boss is this, and I want y'all to remember this, man. A guy will let you drive his car. You folks know you in a car. A guy will let you sleep in their house. But it's very rare that they go help you buy your own house or buy your own car. So when you in these rap entourages and people talking about the houses they got and this and that, do you got a house and you his right-hand man? Do you own your car and you his right-hand man? Yeah, you looking up at stars in another nigga car.
Right.
So you daydreaming about something you should have anyway. You know, so I mean, it's just a shame, man. Everybody wanna act like they're a boss, but then they wanna give you kibbles and bits, bro. Y'all got to look at who y'all following, bro. A lot of these people y'all following ain't who they say they are, bro. For real.
Wow. I gotta ask you this because you was going and this made the cover of Chicago Tribune. Your dear friend, Inglewood Barbie. She took a knee along with 2 officers later on to find out that those officers lost their job.
They lost their job?
Yeah. They lost their job for that. How do you feel about that?
Well, for me, teach his own. Let's just say that for one. But for me, if I have a friend that's a police officer and I know he with me, or I have police officers that I know are for the cause, I would never ask them to take a knee.
Oh. Because
of this situation. We have to have an inside-outside game, and what I mean by this, if we have a lawyer, a prosecutor, a judge that's for us, or the police officer, this is how they show us they with us. Not to me by taking a knee. When a police officer grab one of the folks in them, one of the guys, Mo or Lord in them, and they let them go from the cop, that shows they with us. When the prosecutor give a lenient sentence and the judge give a lenient sentence to a young man and give him a second chance, that shows he's with us. Not by putting himself at risk, putting his livelihood at risk to show outwardly for us. Because one thing about it is the enemy, we got to play the game of not letting the enemy know that we on each other's side. We got to do it, we got to say, well, I'm fighting it from this position, I'm protesting, I'm speaking out. I don't expect you to speak out. I don't expect Zach TV to walk and march with me. I don't expect a lawyer, a doctor, or a nurse to march with me. But I have had nurses so into this movement. What they couldn't do physically, they did monetarily. What they couldn't do physically, they did by teaching our kids the right way, teaching our kids about self-love and self-respect and history. You know, so I didn't expect my brother here that owned Forever Yoga to walk with me and he has a business. But I knew that when I needed him, he sold into it. Here goes some money, D. I ain't gonna walk with you. I'll see you when you're there. And then he gave me a connection while I was on the road that was invaluable. So I didn't agree with that. Okay. I'm not the one that's gonna ask somebody. And then on top of that, if you asking a person to risk their livelihood, do you have a way to give them back their livelihood? Do you have the money to replace what they lost? And if you don't, you need not to ask people to risk themselves in ways that you may feel comfortable with. So now all I'm saying is, what them police officers gonna do? I don't know what it is. What is going on?
What you said the last part? This Chicago. Say that.
This Chicago, nigga.
Man, I was a part of the problem, man. Now I'm part of the solution.
Part of the problem, now part of the solution.
I love
Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it is.
Man, when you say that, just my last question. When you say you was a part of the problem, just let the people know what for anybody. Does that mean edging on the beef or promoting it, and then like?
Y'all know what it is, man. Man, my street credibility is through the roof.
No, not for you. I'm talking for anybody. How can we realize a person that's a part of the problem that don't realize they're part of the problem?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, it starts with you. If you going into the community and you know the guys is doing something wrong and you ain't willing to say, man, look, man, let's knock this off. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's find another way. You know, we killing each other at an all-time high for nothing. It ain't about no money. It's about Instagram clout. Like, are you serious? And the crazy part about it, man, y'all telling everything on social media, man. And I feel, man, if the police just do their job a little bit, y'all be gone. It's crazy. Y'all do too much. But, you know, it's a different time. I respect, you know, what's going on, but it's just not my thing to do. But I'm going to keep on giving a message to give you another alternative. But that's what part of the problem, not being part of the solution is, man. Waking up and feeling like, man, I done destroyed the community and now it's time to repair and rebuild the community. It's time to sow good seeds. If you're doing something wrong, it's time to do a school bag giveaway. It's time to start picking up the groceries for the old lady. It's time to start protecting our elders and our kids and our women, bro. I ain't never seen the time in Chicago where our women, our grandparents, and our children are scared to go outside. I've never seen it. Even at the roast time, I've never seen it like this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you part of the problem that you part of the environment that got these our grandparents and our kids and our women not being able to come out the house, then you need to knock it off.
I got one more question, and I'm done with the interview. One more question. Do you honestly in your heart think some people need to die so others can live?
I mean, that's just nature. You know, some people die for other people to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just nature. If you look at the animal planet, in order for lions to live, they got to eat something. And in order for, you know, the good people to live, some of these bad seeds in our neighborhood gonna have to die off, man. That's just what it is. And I don't sugarcoat it, man. Killers get killed, man. Some of my friends that got killed since I've been on this journey, man. Killers get killed. And I don't sugarcoat nothing. When my homies die, you don't see me crying. You told me you wasn't gonna let them get you. That's how I talk to my homies when they in that casket. I don't even be mad at the killer. I be mad at him because he made the wrong moves and the wrong choices. We know what it is. I come from this. I don't sugarcoat nothing, man. I'm 4 years in the D Nash. I'm 35 years in the D-boy from 35th, bro. Don't get it twisted. Don't let these bow ties, don't let these manners, don't let none of this fool you, bro. I'm still who I am, and what I am and what I ain't, I'll never be. Understand that. And get in tune. Get in tune, because this is the face of change, whether you like it or not. And I ain't no sucker.
That's it, my brother.